Should I start from? So the current WHO trial is a solitary clinical trial for COVID-19 treatment. It is currently ongoing, and it is between WHO and its partners. The solidarity trial, it compares 4 treatment options, that is chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. The second group will be ritonavir or intonavir. The third one will be remdesivir, and the fourth one will be ritonavir, lopinavir with the beta-1 interferon combination. So this current enrolling has been going around multiple countries, whether they are showing any drugs which can slow the disease progression or improve the survival. So here, the current, which one I have taken only is remdesivir. It was previously tested for Ebola treatment and it has generated promising results in animal studies for MERS-CoV and severe and SARS-CoV-1, which are also caused by coronaviruses, suggesting that it may have some effect in current COVID-19 pandemic. So here, the patients, any adults with COVID-19 are taken as participants who are admitted in the hospital can join the study. And once the eligible patients are recruited, the consent will be taken, and wherein they will be informed about the possible risks and benefits of joining the study. Once this is taken and they are randomly allocated into any of the study options or the study 4 arms, some patients may or may not be involved in the study treatment. So here the patient nor the medical staff can't choose the study options. Here the computer makes the allocation at random. And once critical information has been generated, this is collected at various randomizing stages, and when this is done, when the patient is either discharged or the patient is dead. So what are the study drugs which were given, in how many doses they were given, whether ventilation was required or whether ICU care was required. If so, ICU care was required, how many days was required, date of discharge, date and cause of death were still in options. All these information will be collected in this current study. So this is a basic overview of the inclusion criteria for the solidarity trial, where adults aged above 18 years recently hospitalized with severe COVID-2 is confirmed, and they will be randomly allocated between the local standard of care, that is what is pertaining in that geographical location, or the local standard of care plus any of the above treatment. So now coming to another RCT which has been published in Lancet 2020. This was a randomized double-blinded placebo-controlled multi-center trial which was done in Wuhan in China, wherein it was published in Lancet. The eligible patients are again more than 18 years and is admitted with lab-confirmed SARS-CoV-2 infection. Here, the basic inclusion criteria includes the interval of symptom onset to enrollment should be at least 12 days or less. The patient should be saturating less than or equal to 94%, or a PaO2 by FiO2 which is less than 300 milligrams. And a radiologically confirmed pneumonia should be there. So basically this indicates in patients with severe COVID-2 is where remdesivir has been tried. So they are randomly assigned in a 2:1 ratio for patients with IV remdesivir, wherein the treatment dosing used is 200 mg on day 1, followed by 100 mg on days 2 to 10 in a single daily infusion. All the same volume will be given on the placebo arm infusion for over 10 days. The primary endpoint is a time to clinical improvement up to day 28. This clinical improvement is defined as decline in a 6-point scale. So the 6-point scale basically from the number 6 indicates death to number 1 which is discharge. I'll come to that later. So once in this 28-day time period, the patient has a clinical improvement from a baseline to at least like from number 5, the patient comes to number 3. So at least there should be decline of 2 levels on a 6-point ordinal scale for this to the patient to reach the primary endpoint. So the primary analysis was done in the intention to treat population, and safety analysis was done in all of the patients who had started the assigned treatment. The study period was from Feb 6, 2020 to March 12, 2020. Total number of enrolled patients were 237. So this was the 6-point ordinal scale which I was commenting on. So number 6 is death, that's the last stage. For this, number 5 is any patient who's on ECMO or mechanical ventilation. Number 4 is patients who are on high flow oxygen therapy. Number 3 is patients just on basic oxygen therapy, not requiring high flow or NIV. Number 2 is hospital admission not requiring oxygen therapy. And number 1 is either discharge patients or have reaching the discharge criteria that is defined as clinical recovery, wherein there's normalization of pyrexia, respiratory rate has come down, the saturation has improved more than 94% at ambient air, there's relief of cough. All these are should be maintained and should be persisting for at least 72 hours. So once there is an improvement in scale from 5 to 3, that's taken as a primary endpoint. So this is the basic trial profile wherein they've totally taken 255 participants, out of which 18 who didn't meet the eligibility criteria were excluded, and totally 237 were enrolled. So this was randomly allocated into 150 in the remdesivir group and 79 in the placebo group. So in the remdesivir group, finally it boiled down to 155 at the start of study treatment, in which 5 who were received remdesivir for less than 5 days were excluded. So total population came down to 150 in the per population treatment, and this 5 who were excluded were taken in the safety population. In the placebo group, total of 79, 78 was the, and finally 76 were the persons included in the per population group. The secondary outcomes is the proportion of patients in each category of the 6-point scale at days 7, 14, and 28 after randomization, and all-cause mortality at day 28 and 3. So these are the secondary outcomes which are monitored. That is all-cause mortality at day 28, frequency of mechanical ventilation, duration of oxygen therapy, duration of hospital admission, and proportion of patients with nosocomial infection. So this is the basic patient profile which was studied. So wherein the important ones have been highlighted. So the main ones are like totally the gender was like more of men in the remdesivir group compared to the placebo arm, and body temperature, they had higher body temperature, that is around 36.8, and respiratory rate all have more than 24 breaths per minute, around 36 were in the remdesivir group. And then coming to the lab parameters, the serum creatinine levels were also allocated. So these are for the adverse effects, and the 6-point scale. So basically all the patients, so this is an important parameter wherein the baseline scale for these patients who are in the remdesivir group was class 3. That is hospital patients requiring minimum supplemental oxygen, though not high flow. So majority of the patients were in this group. So from here they decided how many scales they went up to. So few were in the hospital requiring high flow nasal cannula, and none were in the ECMO group. So coming to the total, the number 6, there was only one patient who was in the 6-point ordinal scale, that is dead. There was only one patient in the remdesivir group. So the analysis, the time to clinical improvement was plotted with the Kaplan-Meier plot compared with the log rank test. Statistical analysis was done using the SIS software version 9.4. So the few important results from the study is the median age was around 65 years of this in the group. Intercaudal range between 65 to 71. Gender distribution, as I mentioned earlier, was around 89, that is 56% men, was 16 to 44% women in the remdesivir group, and 65% to 35% in the placebo arm. And most patients, like I mentioned earlier, belong to category 3 of the 6-point ordinal scale at baseline. So the intention to treat population, the median time was symptom onset was around 10 days. The intercaudal range between 9 to 12. And time to clinical improvement in the remdesivir group was not significantly different from the control group. And it took around a median of 21 days in the remdesivir group, and control took around 23 days. So these are the important outcomes which have been listed in the intention to treat group, wherein the 28-day mortality is around 22, that is 14% in the remdesivir arm compared to the placebo, that is around 13%. Basic things which we can come out of all these outcomes is that they are only numerically slightly different, though it was not statistically significant. And duration of invasive ventilation was around in the remdesivir group was around 7, whereas here it was around 15.5, and duration of hospital stay was around 25, here was around 24, and time for random group assignment to death was around 9 to 5, here it was around 11. So this is the 6-point category scale which they are taken at day 14. So most of the patients who are initially allocated in this arm has come to a 2-level improvement, that is either not requiring supplemental oxygen or being discharged alive. A few patients went down in the remdesivir group as compared to the placebo arm. So here the comparison has been made at day 14 of the scale and day 28. So by day 28, most of the patients have from the remdesivir group has gone to from a scale of 3, they have gone 2 levels up to a scale of 1. Whereas the patients who have gone up from 3 to 1 in the placebo arm was relatively less. So this is the time to clinical improvement which has been plotted in the graph between the remdesivir arm and the control group. Wherein if you see, it's not that significant if you compare both the arms. So now coming to the important adverse effects which between the remdesivir group and the placebo group, the most there is statistically, if you talk about, there is not much difference between the serious side effects in remdesivir group as well as the placebo arm. Some important side effects were cardiopulmonary failure in the remdesivir group as compared to the placebo arm. Few other complications which have been enlisted. So coming to the final discussion, and the final conclusion of the RCT was IV remdesivir did not improve the time to clinical improvement, mortality, or time to viral clearance in patients with serious COVID-19 as compared to the placebo. However, earlier remdesivir treatment might have some proven benefit in clinical benefit. However, it was adequately tolerated and no new safety concerns were identified in the current study. The limitations were the study was insufficiently powered to detect the assumed differences in the clinical outcomes, and initiation of treatment was quite late in the study, and the absence of data on virus recovery or on possible emergence of reduced susceptibility in the remdesivir group was not studied in this current RCT. So this is another study which is done in just published in NEJM in April 2020, wherein they studied the compassionate use of remdesivir for patients with severe COVID-19. As I just highlight, it's basically more or less same as compared to the one which was done in China. Here again, the inclusion criteria was almost the same, wherein the patients were all having saturation of 94% or less, or were receiving oxygen support. The duration, the dosing of treatment was also around 200 mg administered on day 1, which was finally tapered to 100 mg daily for the remaining 9 days. Here, the study period was from Jan 25, 2020 to March 7th of 2020. Only 61 patients were totally enrolled in the study, out of which 63% were only analyzed. So they were with severe COVID-19 were treated with compassionate use of remdesivir. Clinical improvement were noted or observed in 36 of the 53 patients in the remdesivir group, around 68%. And the measurement of efficacy will be, as I mentioned, it will require more ongoing randomized classified trials for remdesivir therapy. This is however funded by the Gilead Sciences. Now coming to some other clinical trials which are ongoing, that is Gilead, the pharmaceutical company, has initiated a simple trials. That is 2 randomized open-label multicenter phase 3 clinical studies have been started. Herein they are seeing the duration of dosing, that is around 5 days and 10 days of remdesivir in adults with COVID-19. In the first of the 2 simple studies, the safety and efficacy of both a 5-day and 10-day regimen was studied, in addition to standard of care in patients with severe COVID-19. They have planned to enroll around 600 patients with a subsequent expansion to additional 1,000 patients in the expansion phase. Total of 1,600 patients will be recruited in the study. Results of the study are somewhere expected by the end of May. So for conclusion, is by far the most promising drug effective in SARS-CoV-2. It will need more RCTs to effectively conclude the same, and the outcomes of WHO solidarity trial expected to throw more light on the use of remdesivir in SARS-CoV-2 infection. Thank you.